Lindsey Vonn's racing career could be over. This is breaking sports news. One of the greatest alpine skiers in history, Lindsey Vonn, has suffered a serious crash at the 2026 Winter Olympics, and her competitive racing career may be coming to an end. Lindsey Vonn, 41 years old and a legendary figure in ski racing, was competing in the women's downhill event at the Winter Olympics when the crash occurred. The downhill race is one of the most dangerous and fastest events in all of winter sports, with athletes reaching extremely high speeds while navigating a difficult course. What Vonn hoped would be another memorable Olympic moment has instead turned into a dramatic and painful twist. On the day of the race, Vonn started strong. She pushed herself into the course with her usual powerful style. But just 13 seconds into her run, something went wrong. She clipped a course gate with her ski pole. That small touch was enough to throw her off balance. She lost control and tumbled down the slope, crashing hard into the snow. The impact was severe, and medical teams rushed to her side. Because the crash was so serious, Vonn had to be airlifted off the course by helicopter. She was taken directly to a hospital, where medical teams worked on stabilizing her condition and treating her immediate injuries. Officials later confirmed that Lindsey Vonn suffered a complex fracture of her left tibia, one of the major bones in the lower leg. Multiple surgeries will be required to repair the damage and help her recover physically. Because of the seriousness of the injury, doctors are treating her condition with great care. What makes this situation especially striking is that just 9 days before this Olympic downhill race, Vonn had already suffered a complete tear of her ACL in her left knee during a World Cup race. The ACL is a key ligament in the knee that helps provide stability. Most athletes would be sidelined for many months after such an injury. Yet Vonn, famous for her determination and her ability to defy expectations, decided to continue with her Olympic plans. In a message she posted after the crash, Lindsey Vonn spoke directly to her fans and supporters. She explained what happened on the course and addressed her injuries honestly. She said that the crash was not caused by her earlier knee injury, and that the way she approached the downhill line was simply a small miscalculation. In her words, she was only a few inches off when she clipped the gate, and that was enough to send her tumbling. Even though she will need significant medical treatment and recovery time, Vonn made it clear she has no regrets about racing this season or about taking on the challenge of the Olympics at this stage of her life. She wrote that standing at the starting gate was an incredible feeling, and that having the chance to compete was itself a victory. She spoke about life, risk, and courage, and encouraged others to pursue their dreams even when the outcome is uncertain. However, while Lindsey Vonn's own message focused on courage and no regrets, her father, Alan Kildo, has taken a very different stance on what should come next. Alan Kildo is not only Vonn's father but also someone who skied competitively himself in the past. After the crash, he spoke about his daughter's injuries and what he believes should happen with her career. He said that if he has any influence on the decision, Lindsey Vonn will not race again. He described her age and the toll that high-speed ski racing takes on the body, and said that this crash should mark the end of her competitive career. Kildo was very clear when he said, "There will be no more ski races for Lindsey Vonn, as long as I have anything to say about it." Family has been close by her side throughout this ordeal. Kildo, her siblings, and other loved ones have been with her in the hospital, supporting her through an extremely difficult time, both physically and emotionally. Kildo has spoken about how traumatic the crash looked and how terrifying it was for the family to witness it. Medical professionals who have treated Vonn say that her physical recovery will be a long and demanding process. Fixing a complex tibia fracture is not something that heals quickly. In addition to the broken bone, she will need further care for her knee and the injuries she already carried into the Games. The rehabilitation timeline could stretch for many months, and it remains uncertain whether she would ever return to international ski competition again. Experts have also pointed out that intense physical therapy and mental recovery will both be needed. Professional athletes often talk about how much dedication it takes to come back from a major injury, especially one that happens at the highest level of competition. Even if someone wanted to try again, it would require a huge commitment of time and energy. Throughout her remarkable career, Lindsey Vonn has already achieved things that most athletes only dream about. She is one of the most successful female ski racers in history, with many World Cup wins and multiple Olympic medals. Her decision to come out of retirement and compete again at age 41 had already captured the attention of fans worldwide. Many people saw her return to the sport as an inspirational story, a veteran racer proving that age and injury do not have to define someone's limits. For now, Vonn is focused on recovering from her injuries and returning home when medical staff say it is appropriate. She will not remain at the Olympics to watch other events. Instead, she will begin the next chapter of her life, which may involve healing, reflection, and a shift away from competitive racing. In the world of alpine skiing and sports in general, Lindsey Vonn's name is already secure. Her influence on the sport, her records, and her inspiring journey will be remembered by fans and young athletes alike. Whether or not she ever races again, her legacy is already written. That is the latest on Lindsey Vonn's condition and the serious questions about her competitive future following the crash at the 2026 Winter Olympics. More updates will come as her recovery continues.